Worried about gout? Check out Ural, the effective urinary alkalinizer. Ural, neutralize your uric acid problem now.
Good evening, this is KiniNews and I'm your host Prasad. Remember when Anwar Ibrahim called on the opposition to unite in order to stand a chance in Johor against BN? Well, the message appears to have been lost in translation.
New kids on the block. Muda has accused PKR for terminating electoral pact negotiations for the upcoming Johor state election. In a statement today, Muda President Syed Saddiq said if there are any clashes between Muda and PKR, which cannot be avoided, Muda will leave the decision to the Johor people. Last month, Pakatan Harapan distributed seats among its three parties, with PKR and Amanah being allocated 20 seats each and 16 seats for DAP. The Harapan leadership also decided that each component party would be allowed to forge an electoral pact with Muda. While Amanah and DAP had swiftly concluded talks with Muda, PKR has gone on to announce the names of 13 candidates. However, Syed Saddiq's statement accused PKR of announcing all 20 candidates, thereby ending talks for a pact. Previously, Muda had stated its intention of fielding 10 candidates out of the 56 seats in the Johor Legislative Assembly. DAP and Amanah have given the Youth Party 6 seats to contest, with 4 coming from Amanah and 2 from DAP.
Let's just say Syed Saddiq's comments did not sit well with certain PKR leaders. They say if Muda wants to fight, they'll get one.
PKR leaders have threatened to retaliate if Muda were to contest against PKR candidates in the Johor polls. This comes after talks between PKR and Muda fell apart. Muda President Syed Saddiq said if clashes cannot be avoided, Muda will leave the decision to voters. PKR Wanita Vice Chief Faizah Ariffin said, Syed Saddiq's statement showed that Muda held a grudge after the collapse of the negotiations. She said if Muda takes the position, PKR should also field the candidate in seats contested by Muda, particularly in Puteri Wangsa. She also pointed out that Muda is not part of Harapan and facing them in the field should not be a problem. Faizah added, Muda should accept the failure of the negotiations, but if it wanted a fight, it would get one. Meanwhile, PKR's Pasir Gudang MP Hassan Abdul Karim, in a separate statement said, Syed Saddiq should not be making threats. Hassan related his younger days when he was part of Parti Rakyat Malaysia, which he described as more radical than Muda. Hassan reminded Syed Saddiq that PKR was a party born out of the struggle for reform. He said many PKR leaders had protested on the streets, had been jailed and won't back down when challenged.
With the opposition in a mess, BN is already planning what it's going to do after it wins in Johor, which will be bad news for political amphibians fond of jumping. BN's main agenda, if the coalition wins the state election, would be to introduce anti-hopping rules. This was the promise made by incumbent Johor Menteri Besar Hasni Mohamad. Hasni said if BN forms the state government, the anti-hopping law will be the main agenda to be tabled at the State Assembly. The state BN chief said he also wants to include the rules as part of the coalition's manifesto for the Johor snap polls. Speaking in an interview with English daily The Star, Hasni said he is strongly against party hoppers. He stated that Johor BN has no plans to field any political frogs who jumped into the party as candidates. Hasni also distanced the ruling party from the 2 former Bersatu State Assembly persons who recently announced their exit from the party. According to him, UMNO and BN have nothing to do with the duo's decision to quit Bersatu. The story of a single mother wanting her 3 children back continues to unfold, now with the mother denying what was said by the Perlis Mufti.
Single mother Law Siu Hong has denied allegations that her children have refused to see her. Her 14-year-old twin daughters and son, aged 10, are currently under the care of the Perlis Welfare Department. In an interview with Malaysia Kini, Law claimed her children were brainwashed by certain quarters. She said this included her ex-husband's family to be hostile towards her and to reject her when she visits them. She claimed that they told her children that their father would commit suicide if they followed her. She said she was also blamed for sending their father to the prison in Machang, Kelantan, for a drug-related offence. Law reiterated that they were delighted to meet her on February 16th when she paid them a brief visit in Perlis. Law's children were placed in the care of the Perlis Welfare Department pending the outcome of a habeas corpus application set for February 21st at the High Court in Kuala Lumpur. According to Perlis Mufti Muhammad Asri Zainul Abidin, her children had refused to see their mother. He declared that the kids want Islam and want to go to a religious school.
Kita tak ada masalah kalau anak-anak tu kata kami memang nak balik kepada mak kami. Kita bagi ya. Kan? Kita tak ada masalah. Yalah, hak bagi tak bagi itu pun bukan. Itu kuasa pentadbiran. Tapi masalah dia, anak-anak tu tak mau. Kita bukan nak bertahan, bukan kerana bidang kuasa kita. Tapi dia bagi tahu saya tolong pertahan mereka nak kami nak Islam. Kami nak pergi sekolah agama.
Muhyiddin Yassin, the man who kept asking us to stay at home, now wants his successor to open up the borders.
The proposal by the National Recovery Council to reopen the country's border was agreed by the members of the council, according to its chairperson Muhyiddin Yassin. Speaking at a Perikatan National Chinese New Year reception in Pontian last night, Muhyiddin said it was not a personal decision.
Please, Prime Minister dan members of the cabinet here, National Recovery Council sudah cadang, bukan kita buat keputusan pandai-pandai. Dalam itu meeting Menteri Kesihatan ada, boleh Tan Sri sudah boleh buka. Kena kuarantin tak payah Tan Sri. Dia kata, Immigration Director General kata sudah boleh buka. Bila mau buka, 1 hari bulan Mac boleh buka. Jadi saya buat keputusan, bukan saya punya keputusan. Saya buat keputusan atas nama Majlis Pemulihan Negara.
Muhyiddin said opening the borders is important to revive the country's economy.
Open the borders as soon as possible. Oh, COVID, you manage and control COVID. But business must be open. Tourists must come. And tourists spend 80 billion per year. Now they don't come to Pontian. Singaporean can cross also. Imagine if we start opening the borders, the plane will fly. The industry aviation sudah hampir collapse. Rugi loh, banyak rugi. Buka balik.
Earlier this month, the NRC recommended that the government fully open the country's border as early as March 1st, but the cabinet has yet to discuss the proposal.
DAP has pointed out how they never took action against Fahmi Reza when he criticized Harapan leaders when they were in power. Lim says this shows how insecure the current government is.
DAP has criticized the federal government for repeatedly charging graphic designer Fahmi Reza for his satire. Party Secretary General Lim Guan Eng said the government should be using its power to protect the public and not abuse those powers to shield themselves from criticism. Lim said the unelected government of BN and Perikatan Nasional must indeed be fragile and insecure as to feel threatened by a single graphic artist. Recently, Fahmi was slapped with 2 charges under Section 233 of the Communications and Multimedia Act 1998. This highly contentious law criminalizes improper use of network facilities to make an obscene posting with the intent to annoy another person. The first charge involved allegedly obscene material depicting a cabinet minister. Another involved PAS. Lim, who has repeatedly been the subject of Fahmi's unflattering caricatures, said Pakatan Harapan had never invoked this law on their critics when they were in power. If found guilty, Fahmi may be fined up to 50,000, jailed up to a year, or both. Combined, Fahmi had to put up 8,000 in bail money.
Ibit Liu, the preacher known for making headlines for his charitable deeds, made a different kind of headline today. Well-known preacher Ibit Liu has been charged with 11 counts of alleged acts linked to the sexual harassment of a woman. Bukit Aman Criminal Investigation Department Director Abdul Hassan in a statement confirmed the charges under Section 509 of the Penal Code. This is in relation to lewd images and messages sent via WhatsApp with the intention to intrude upon the privacy of a person. Abdul Jalil said all the charges were for the offences allegedly committed in Tenum Sabah between March and June last year. Upon conviction, the accused can be sentenced to prison for up to 5 years or fined or both. Police also urge all parties to refrain from making any speculations or provocation to ensure a smooth proceeding. Harian Metro earlier reported Ibid arrived at the circuit court in the Tenam district office in a Toyota Wellfire around 9 a.m, accompanied by several other individuals. Last July, Ibid lodged a police report following various allegations of sexual harassment that surfaced on social media. And that is all from me today. For more stories, you can go to KiniTV.com. You can also follow us on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube and Facebook for the latest news updates. If you'd like to support independent media, do consider subscribing to MalaysiaKini.com. I'm Prasad. Thank you for watching.